All right, sports fans, welcome. It's Friday early afternoon to GT Sports. Keep it 100. I love this podcast that I do because I get to talk professional in college sports and I get to tell you exactly what I feel, what's on my mind as far as players. I get to give my opinion on some teams. There's teams I like. I got some favorite teams. I got some players and teams that I don't really care so much for. So I get to come out and maybe I'll stir up some. A debate here on what I have to say. I do try to get my predictions right? But we talk professional sports, anything that's included in professional MLB, NFL, MLB, UFC, boxing, college sports. I love softball, baseball. We're right into the season. Basketball just finished for the men and ladies. So we talk anything that has to do with college and professional sports. But this podcast today is going to be a little short. We're going to talk about the NBA. Obviously, the regular season is almost over with about a game or two left. And then the playoffs start. That's the exciting time. So I'm really gearing up and getting ready for the playoffs. A couple of my teams are back in the playoffs this year, so I'm really excited. But I will talk a little bit about predictions. We got a couple of big games that were interest to me that I want to talk about here tonight. And we'll start off here with one of the games that's going to be on tonight. They're going to be the Detroit Pistons taking on the Charlotte Hornets. So I'll start off with Charlotte, right? Charlotte, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Charlotte. I watched them play early on in the season. They beat my San Antonio Spurs, so that's when I really started to say, wow, I watched that game from beginning to end, and they were really impressive when they beat San Antonio. So since then, I've been watching them more. They've won a couple of more big games. Obviously, they are heading down the right path here. I do think we'll be talking about them in the postseason. They are a very dangerous team. Do I think they're gonna beat some of these teams like Cleveland or Atlanta or New York? I don't think so. But they're going to be a lot of fun to watch. And whoever has to play this team, if it's in the play-in tournament or if they do make the playoffs and you have to play a series against the Hornets, let me just say you better come to play because this team is exciting to watch. And if you're not careful, they will beat you. They've got some shooters. I think LaMelo Ball has just been outstanding. I watched a game, couple games where he was just shooting lights out. We know what Concanupo can do. So they're exciting. To me, they're exciting to watch, and I'm looking forward to watching them in the play-in tournament or the playoffs. So hopefully, I get to see them in the series because I like to see what they can do. Like I said, I'm not giving them much of a chance this year. But they can upset people. But I don't know that it'll happen this year. But I'm excited, and they're a lot of fun to watch. So I'm looking forward to watching Charlotte play, if that's in the play-in tournament or in the playoffs against any team. Should it be Detroit? I don't think they'll beat Detroit. But man, they're gonna be a lot of fun to watch these guys because they do come to play and they're very exciting to watch. At least that's my opinion. But for Detroit, they're gonna get the number one seed. So to get to the finals, the Eastern Conference, you're gonna have to go to get out of the Eastern to go to the NBA Finals. The road's gonna go through Detroit. Listen, I thought when Cade Cunningham went out, I thought Detroit was gonna lose their first place spot. I thought that they were gonna go down in the standings. They did not do that. If anything, I think they got better. They proved to themselves that they can win without their star, which I think makes it more dangerous. Can Detroit get to the Eastern Conference Finals and win it and get to the West? I don't think so. Um, but um, but I think they're going to get at least a round or two in, or I think they'll get one round in and possibly two. Maybe they can get to the Eastern Conference because I think they're that good, but I don't think they'll be representing the East, at least not this year. I think Boston will have something to say about that. But, Detroit's been exciting. They have been in that number one spot for quite some time now. No one's been able to knock them out. So, um, there is a little slight chance that they could, but if you ask me, if I'm a betting man, I'm going with the Boston Celtics. I think they will represent now that Tatum is back in the way that Jalen Brown is playing. I just think in the series they'd be too much for Detroit. But listen, Detroit's going to be exciting. They've got a stud, an MVP candidate, right? That can play. And they've got some good role players there. So it's going to be exciting to see Detroit. Like I said, I think they can probably win maybe the first, second round, but then I can see them in the Eastern Conference, but not winning the East to get to the NBA Finals. So we'll see what happens there and how all that plays out. The next team, Cleveland Cavaliers, taking on the Atlanta Hawks. This team they just played. Cleveland. I said that Cleveland needed to win that game, and they did. They beat Atlanta, and now they're going to play them in Atlanta. And they got to win those games. Listen, you made the trade for James Harden. I didn't like the trade. I still don't like the trade. Do they trading for James Harden? Does it make them better? Yes, than what they had, but it doesn't elevate them to a championship. I don't think they're the best team in the East. I don't think they're the second best team in the East. So I'm not really sure why you got an aging James Harden, especially for the playoffs. He's never shown that he can really excel in the playoffs. I mean, he can have big games and then he can come back and have a really bad game. So I'm not sure what they saw. I don't see them. I mean, if you trade for James Harden, it's because you think he can get you out of the East into the NBA Finals. When I look at that team, I don't think James Harden made them better to get him to that point. He is better. They will be better. They probably are playing better, but not good enough to get out of the East. So I'm not sure why they made that trade. I don't like it. Donovan Mitchell has had 40, 45, 50-point games in the playoffs, and he still hasn't been able to win a series. So I don't know how James Harden elevates them. He's getting older. Doesn't really play defense. He's hard to guard, no doubt about that. He's an offensive machine, right? Doesn't get a lot of calls anymore like he used to get to the free throw line. So I'm not sure that when I look at that Cleveland team, I think they underperform and they should be a lot better. I think they should be top 2, 1, 2. I thought it should have been New York and Cleveland this year, Cleveland and New York, right? I think they should have been higher than Detroit, but they never got there, and that's because both of those teams, to me, underperform with the talent that they have. So, yeah, they'll make the playoffs. They might win the first and second round, but they're not getting out of the. They're not my prediction to get out of the East. So, Cleveland needs to win this game, but I don't think that James Harden trade. Going back to that, I don't like it because I don't think it put them as the best team in the East, especially now with Tatum back. So we'll see what happens, but that team has underperformed the last couple of years, and I think this year is going to be no different. But for tonight, I do have Cleveland. Again, they need to get that win over Atlanta. Atlanta's coming around. They're getting up there. They've traded Trae Young now, so watch out for them, but they're not going to make too much noise, at least not this year. The Toronto Raptors will be in the playoffs. They're going to take on the New York Knicks. New York Knicks coming off of a big win last night over Boston. I watched that game from beginning to end. That was a great game. Madison Square Garden fans were up in an uproar. They were really happy. Karl Anthony Towns plays like I always tell people he's capable of playing, just doesn't play like that every game. So it was a great win for the Knicks to be able to beat Boston. I think it's good for the confidence. But Jaylen Brown didn't play, and that's a huge missing part from last night's game. Now, if Jaylen plays, does Boston win? Not necessarily, but you beat a Boston team without their best player to this point, a player that's an MVP candidate, right? So if Jaylen Brown had to play the whole game and New York won, that would have more meaning. It's a great win no matter what, because when Boston comes into town and New York's playing them, and they come not 100% healthy, and New York is, then you should win that game. So New York did what they were supposed to, right? You're coming in with one of your star players out. We need to show we can win. They hit some big shots down the road, and they won the game. But again, for me, it didn't do much because Jaylen Brown didn't play. And to me, Jaylen Brown makes a huge difference when he's in there. So he makes the other players better, gives them open shots. So great win by the Knicks, but I'm not convinced that they can beat Boston in the series. I don't even know if they could beat Boston had Jaden played last night. So we'll never know because he didn't play. But these two teams might meet down the road. We'll see what happens. If they do, I'm taking Boston. I'm not going to change my mind because I've seen New York at times. They have looked like a team that can be in the NBA Finals. Like I said, Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, I've said this, when that guy goes inside, he is unstoppable. He is a force, and we've seen it. We saw it last night. We've seen it before where when he can take over a game, there is nothing you can do. The problem is he doesn't always play that way. And when he doesn't play that way, it really hurts the Knicks. The Knicks don't always bring that mentality, and because of that, they get beat, right? So they underperform a lot. I don't think this year is going to be any much different than the last couple of years. So I don't have New York coming out of the East this year. They'll lose somewhere down the road. I think they'll lose to Boston. Maybe they might even lose to Detroit. I don't know. But because of what I have seen from them this year, I'm not confident that they're the best team, and they'll be coming out of the East. But for tonight, I do take them to beat Toronto. Toronto is playing very well. They are in New York. Now, here's the deal that kind of concerns me a little bit. New York got a big win last night. Will they come out with that same energy against Toronto that they did against Boston? If they do, Towns plays the way he played last night, then New York's going to win. But if they're we won a big game and they come in with flat, they don't come in with that energy, because we've seen them play that way, where they content with their performance last night. They come out and don't play like they're capable of playing, then Toronto's going to beat them. So I'm going to take New York. I just don't know what New York team is going to come out. Is it going to come out the team that we saw last night against Boston, or are they going to be content, come out flat, not give 100%, low energy? Because if they do, Toronto's got a good chance to win. But we'll see what New York team comes out tonight. But I still got the Knicks because they're at home, and I do believe they are the better team. Next game, we got the Dallas Mavericks and the San Antonio Spurs. So you're asking, why is this game on the schedule? The Dallas Mavericks ain't going to the playoffs. No, they're not, but San Antonio is my favorite team in the NBA, right? Close second is the Houston Rockets. So here we go. Dallas will be done for the season. It was a great season. Cooper Flag had a couple of big games. Unfortunately, doesn't have the team to support to be able to make it into the postseason. Kyrie Irving will be back next year. So what does that mean? Does that mean that we can start talking about the Dallas Mavericks possibly playing in the finals? No, because the West is too tough. They definitely will win more games. I think they can get into the playoffs. Kyrie Irving definitely makes Dallas better with what we've seen with Cooper Flag. So they'll be a lot better. I'd say maybe even a playoff team. They still got to put more talent around Cooper Flag with Kyrie Irving. We'll see what all that looks like. But that team with Kyrie Irving coming back is nowhere near a championship team with the opponents, the competition that they have in the West. They will be better next year. So I'm definitely looking forward to talking more about the Dallas Mavericks next year when Kyrie Irving is back on the court. For the San Antonio Spurs, a lot of people think they can win the championship this year. To my surprise, I didn't think that they would be the second place team this year. I didn't see that coming, right? I thought they were maybe still another 2 years or so off. So they've been very impressive to this point, and what they have been able to accomplish, 60-plus win team from a team that hasn't been in the playoffs for quite some time. Victor Wembanyama, to me, is the reason why. He has elevated the game. He's great. I'm going to say he's great on the defensive side, and he's great on the offensive side, right? 7'4", 5" with guard skills. He can do a step back three and, knock it down. He dribbles like a guard, so it's hard to defend him if you're the big man. It doesn't take very much for him to dunk. He has a lot of control over his body defensively. He makes you change your shot. He blocks shots. Doesn't matter who you are. We saw that in that Denver matchup with Nikola Jokic, right? So he's great both offensively and defensively. I don't think that anybody can guard this guy. You just can't. Not to mention he has a high IQ for the game, right? Like, he's just great. And he makes those players around him better. Castle, Harper, Keldon Johnson, right? They're big guys. They're great defenders. And they've gotten better on that outside shooting, right? Now, against that Denver game, I thought that San Antonio made some crucial mistakes down the road that cost them that game. I thought they should have won it in regulation, but that's the way it happens. I think that comes with just understanding the moment, right? So I thought they played very well. I thought they should have gotten the win in Denver, but because of those minor mistakes down the road, you can't do that against a championship team like Denver, and they made you pay. Went into overtime. Denver got the win. Not really disappointed about that because I like what I saw from the Spurs in playing that game. In Denver, they showed a lot even though they lost in OT. Now, you get into the playoffs, I think San Antonio is the second best team like they're at. I think they obviously Oklahoma is number one. So San Antonio, I think, is better than Denver and all those other teams. I think if they match up with Denver before OKC, that's going to be a dogfight, and I'm hoping San Antonio can win, but you can never count Denver out. So this is what I'm saying. OKC is the best team in the West. San Antonio's 2, and it's going to be either Denver, San Antonio, or OKC that is going to be representing the West, in my opinion. Now, if San Antonio and OKC, they do meet in the Western Conference Finals, I think OKC gets it, not by much, but I think they get it this year simply because they have the experience, and I think they're just a little bit deeper in their bench than San Antonio. Not to say San Antonio can't go 8-9 deep, because they can, and we've seen it. But if San Antonio, when I think they can win it this year, it would be because Victor Wembanyama, because Victor, there's just no one that can stop him. He only plays about 29 minutes a game, so I don't know where he's at with this injury either. But, Victor's going to get his. It would be the rest of the team. Is the reserves, are they better than the reserves for OKC? I think coaching comes into this as well as you strategize, from game 1 to 2 to 3. So coaching would matter a lot in a series like this. So I'm not counting San Antonio out this year. They've already beaten them. And people say, well, we've already beaten them. I've been on the record as saying that, off the record, but on the record talking to other people. But I've also been reminded, which I understand, but the playoffs are a lot different than the regular season. And they are. You got to elevate your game. I think Victor will. I'm not sure that the other guys on that Spurs team, how prepared they'll be. Because remember, they've never been to the playoffs, much less a championship game, the NBA Finals, right? OKC's been there. These guys that are on their team, they were there last year, and they won it all. So that experience will speak volumes for a team of Victor and his guys who have never been there. I mean, I think De'Aaron Fox and Barnes, I think, have some playoff experience, but they've never been there. This is a young team. They're going to, for the first time, feel that pressure and feel that intensity of what the playoffs are all about. So we'll see. I do like, and I'm not going to tell you that we can't beat OKC this year, but if I was betting the house this year, I think you got to put the money with OKC, because I think right now they would be the favorite to win it. But San Antonio's right there on their tail, man. And if you're OKC, you got to be worried about the San Antonio Spurs and Victor Wembanyama, because Victor's just getting started. I can't tell you, man, this guy is going to change the NBA. To be 7'4'5" and to be able to do what he does, I've never seen it in all the years that I have watched the NBA. Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Shea, SGA. I mean, all these guys, they're great. But what Victor Wembanyama can do at 7'4'5" is something I have never seen in the NBA. And it is fun to watch this young man play. And it's great because he's in San Antonio in the state of Texas. And so he's playing for my team. So that makes it that much more exciting. But I think they've got to take their bumps and bruises. But it wouldn't surprise me if they beat OKC, because I think they're that talented with Victor. But if I'm a bet man, again, if these two teams meet, which I think it's going to be a dogfight, should San Antonio play Denver first, right? And that takes a lot out of you. So let's just say that San Antonio has to go through Denver before they get to Oklahoma City, should they meet in the West and Oklahoma City get there, right? All of that game with Denver would go probably 7. So how much energy would they have going in? So all of that you got to take into effect. So again, if San Antonio and OKC meet in the Western Conference and San Antonio does get past Denver if they have to play them, I give it to OKC this year. But again, it wouldn't surprise me if San Antonio was in the NBA Finals, because I think they're that good. They surprised me to this point in the regular season. So this is just a great team with some great players, and they believe they can win it. Now that's what makes them scary and dangerous, is they believe that they can win it this year. And man, I mean, they've been playing like they can, so don't doubt them. But it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to the playoffs. But for this game, we'll go back to tonight's game, San Antonio. I don't think Castle will play. I don't think Victor will play in this game. I think they're going to have some of their players out. But I still think that San Antonio will have enough to beat Dallas. So I'm taking San Antonio. The next game, this is going to be a good one. OKC traveling to Denver to take on the Nuggets. It's going to be good. Listen, I would love to see the Denver Nuggets win this game at home. I would. But I'm going to take OKC. Man, OKC, they've just been playing. Look, the best three players from OKC and the best three players for Denver can go either way, right? Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, right? And the three best, Chet, what is it, Shea, those guys, I think they're probably evenly matched up. I think they're going to get their points. They're going to score. It comes down to the role players, right? And I think OKC's got the better of the role players. They're deeper. They're better. And they'll make the difference. And that's why I think OKC will go into Denver tonight and get that win. So I'm taking OKC over Denver, but that is going to be a good one. I hope I'm able to watch it. I hope it's televised somewhere where I can see it. And then you got the Houston Rockets taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. I watched the Rockets last night. Played really good. A little disappointed because they almost lost the lead, right? And then Kevin Durant came in, hit a three, and they were able to win that game. So they looked really good for a short period of time. They didn't, so that's a little concerning. But what's good about the Houston Rockets is their starters are now starting to play at the level that they need to going into the playoffs. Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith, Şengün, obviously Kevin Durant. Your starters, they need to be in that double-digit range. They have been, so that's a good thing. They got to get some production from their bench. Kevin Durant's going to give you 25. I don't think he can give you those 40-point games like he used to, but he's going to give you 25, 27 at least. The other team needs to come in and help him win these games. Kevin Durant has done what he was brought to Houston to do, to be a consistent scorer, and he does that. He just can't give you those 40-point game nights every night like he used to, right? So he's going to need some help from Houston. Minnesota's coming in. They're coming in with injuries to Gobert and Julius Randle, who will not play tonight. Anthony Edwards has been on the injured. He may be able to come back, but to what extent and how effective will it be, I don't know. So with those injuries to Minnesota coming in, losing, I think 4 or 5 or something, so they're not really doing well now with these injuries. Coming into Houston, the only thing that concerns me, Houston back-to-back, but they're young. They should be able to handle Minnesota with those injuries. So I look forward to Houston winning this game, and we'll see where they land, right? They're still playing for something, so they're going to put their starters out there. So I'm looking for Houston to win that game. A couple of good games tonight, man. It's going to be very, very interesting. Like I said, the season ends on Sunday, and then we'll start talking about the playoffs, and I'm looking forward to the playoffs. I'm looking forward to the play-in tournaments first. And then we'll see who gets into the playoffs. And then we'll start seeing the matchups. I think there's going to be some good first-round matchups. I'm looking forward to the playoffs and which teams will be in the NBA Finals. Tune in right here. I'll be coming in every day or every other day to talk NBA and talk about the teams right before the playoffs start. So once again, thank you for tuning in. Just wanted to do this little short podcast to talk about the NBA, finishing out the regular season with some big games tonight. And then next week, we'll talk more about the start of the postseason. We'll start with the play-in tournament. So once again, Gabriel Trevino coming to you. GT Sports, keep it 100. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day. Enjoy the games.